formatting. So the LI itself, list items are common. We might have more on the page somewhere else at some point. It seems like it might be appropriate to put a class on each of these. So each of these LIs, so when you think of IDs and classes, IDs are for identification, classes are for classification. So what are all of these LIs examples of? They're spells, right? So we named the list spells. So each list item is one spell, right? So I kind of like the idea of the list item itself having a class of spell. Item.classList add spell. And that makes it easy to target it with CSS without targeting list items that I don't intend to change. So let's try doing a little something with that. I mentioned flexbox a couple times. It's a whole thing. We won't get into it in super great detail, but I'll do a little bit with it live. So it's especially useful for things that should be side by side. Formatting things that are one on top of each other were never nearly as hard to format with CSS. But the other got way, way easier to do when Flexbox came around, though you can totally use it in both directions. So since this is kind of a row of stuff, I'm going to use Flexbox to do it. So I have my list item with a class of spell. So I'll just target anything with a class of spell. Let's make sure I'm not doing something crazy with LIs already. I don't think I am. Yeah. So .spell. I want to use Flexbox, so I'm going to say display flex. Anybody know other values for display? There's display block and display inline. So the two basic types of elements that we talked about earlier. There's also display none, which doesn't display it at all, and it means that the page will not leave any room for it either. It will still be in the DOM, though. It will be there, it just won't be showing up, and everything will pretend it's not there. Display flex means use Flexbox. So spell becomes my flex container. So that's my entire list item. That's this entire row. Everything, all of its children become flex items. And most of the other properties we'll mess with have to do with how the flex items are treated. Where the extra space goes, that kind of stuff. Let's see what happens when I just say display flex and don't say anything else. Not really any different yet. What if I do a really long name? It's going to scroll off to the side as of now. Okay. Yeah.
I have a question about this. Is there any way you can have that auto fix that? Like a really long name, or will it automatically start scrolling?
We can change that. We can change that. So I think what I want is, I can't remember, was it you, Sam, who had the things, had them kind of separated? So let's try to do something like that. I like that. So again, it's kind of all about what you do with the extra space. CSS tricks, again, great site. Oh look, their example search term is Flexbox. How about it? A complete guide to Flexbox. Oh yeah. We're not going to read the complete guide or anything, but see if we find something. Okay, this looks interesting. Justify content. You can have everything kind of smashed toward the beginning, which is what appears to be happening now. You can have everything sort of smashed toward the end. You can have everything centered. You can have all the extra space go in between. I think that's what we want. You can have space around. So difference between space around and space between is whether there's space at the beginning and end. Space evenly also puts the space at the beginning and end. Can you tell the difference between space around and space evenly? So the difference is, with space around, there's half the space at the beginning and end that there is between each item. With space evenly, there's just as much space at the beginning and end as there is between each item. It's okay to look this stuff up each time you have to use it. Do it enough times and you'll start to get the hang of it. So justify content, space between seems like what we want. So on spell, which is my flex container, I will say justify content, space, between. And yeah, code is even telling us how they work. Flex items are evenly distributed in the line. Don't forget your semicolon. Fire, 3. Yeah, look at that. Oh, I'm still in the level field. We're going to have to fix this sooner or later. I don't know if I can take it. Froggy, level 7. There we go. Much better. I like it. That's progress. Space, spell name, and level evenly. That's really what I did here. Questions about that?